asked me if I'm ready to go, and he asked if I could be quiet about the situation. Pretty much, I'm just like, heck no. Like, this is your crap. You did this, you're going to deal with it. I'm not going to happen. So, I was thinking he's going to do the crap.
So what happens next?
He told me that I knew what time it was then.
And after he made that statement, what did he do?
When he done that.
And when you say he pointed it at you, how close was he to you?
Not really far. He was kind of like where that square is.
In relation between me and you, was he closer than I am to you? In between this dry erase board, or was he further away?
A little bit closer.
And so, Devin, is he taller than you or shorter than you?
He's taller.
And so he was pointing this gun. Was it pointed at your head, at your chest? What do you remember?
I remember looking down the barrel.
And so you're standing in the front kind of left portion of this car.
A 17-year-old picks up two teenagers in his mom's car, drives them to the woods, and shoots them both in the back. The jury convicts him for killing the boy. But for the 14-year-old girl lying next to him, the jurors call it a mistrial. 8 jurors said guilty. 4 said no. And now prosecutors have to decide if they want to put her family through this nightmare again. This happened 2 weeks ago in North Carolina. And the victim's mother is begging for answers while the killer sits in prison knowing he might never face justice for half of what he did.
And I sat on their porch, and then 3 minutes later, maybe, they pulled in the driveway. Chief Sykes and the fire chief of F1 pull in together in Jamie's Tahoe, and I just took off running. And his window was down, and I just ran up to him and I said, "It's not her, right?" Because I was keeping it together. Nobody else was, but it's so far-fetched that somebody would want to hurt her. And he just got out of the car, he didn't say anything, he just hugged me. I was like, "I'm so sorry." And I collapsed and probably screamed a scream I never want to hear again. And then I just walked away, and I just needed nobody around. I couldn't explain it. And I just wanted to know what happened. And he wouldn't tell me for a little bit. And then they came back later on. They brought us in the house and told us that they were shot. And then we went from there.
I'm about to walk you through how a double murder conviction fell apart in real time and why one family still doesn't have closure. This is the Lyric Woods and Devin Clark case. If you want cases nobody else is covering while they're still hot, hit that subscribe button to Crime Shadows right now, because we don't wait for Netflix documentaries. September 18th, 2022. Lyric Woods is 14 years old. She's in 8th grade, active in her community, and by all accounts just starting to figure out who she wants to be. Her family describes her as bubbly, always laughing, the kind of kid who lit up rooms without trying. Devin Clark is 18. He's just graduated high school and trying to figure out what comes next, like every other teenager stuck between childhood and adulthood. These two don't know each other well. They've never met in person, but they're both connected to the same guy through social media, and that's about to get them killed. Here's where it gets disturbing. According to evidence presented at trial, all 3 of them planned to meet up that night. The plan? They were going to have sex. Lyric, Devin, and 17-year-old Issiah Ross coordinated everything online. Ross is the one with the car, his mother's vehicle, and he's the one who picks them both up. Nobody thinks twice about it. Just 3 teenagers meeting up like thousands of others do every single night across the country. Except Ross has a 9mm handgun with him. The gun belongs to Devin's own father, Dexter Clark, who later testifies he reported it missing after realizing he hadn't seen it in 1 or 2 weeks.
At some point, did you report Devin missing? And when did you do that?
Probably a little later on, maybe like a day or 2 later. I noticed that I hadn't heard anything from him, so I called and reported him missing.
Had you tried to call him during that intervening time?
I did. I didn't want to think nothing was wrong. So I kind of just pushed it like to the side a little bit.
Was it, had Devin done this before, where he'd been gone all weekend?
No, he would usually leave sometimes with his friends and come back, but you know, it wasn't nothing like out of the ordinary.
And when you tried to call him, what happened?
I didn't get no call from. I didn't get he didn't pick up. Whenever I tried to call him.
Think about that for a second. Devin gets into a car with a guy holding his dad's stolen gun and has no idea what's coming. Ross drives them to a remote area off Buckhorn Road in Orange County, North Carolina. It's an ATV trail, isolated, no witnesses, no cameras, the kind of place where you go if you don't want to be found. And that's exactly what happens next. Multiple gunshots echo through the woods. Both Lyric and Devin are hit. The prosecution's case hinges on one critical detail. They were shot in the back. Not the front, the back. That matters because Ross is going to claim self-defense. And you can't claim you were protecting yourself from someone running away from you. When investigators find the bodies the next day on September 19th, it's clear this wasn't a fight that went wrong. This was an execution. Ross doesn't stick around to see what happens. He runs. Not to a neighbor's house. Not to the police. He flees the state entirely. Within days, he's in Delaware, trying to disappear. Meanwhile, Orange County investigators are piecing together what happened, and they're getting help from the FBI and Delaware authorities. On October 5th, 2022, they find him and bring him back to North Carolina in handcuffs. He's 17 years old, but he's getting charged as an adult. 2 counts of first-degree murder. Now here's where Ross's story starts to unravel before he even gets to trial. A friend of his, Christian Sykes, comes forward and tells police something chilling.
I need you to understand, Issiah, that your actions didn't end Devin's and Lyric's last breath. They echo through our home, through our hearts, through every moment we now have to live without them. You changed the course of our lives forever. I hope you carry the weight of that truth, because we carry it every single day. And we ask the court.
According to Sykes, Ross confessed to the killings over Snapchat video just days after the murders. Not in person, not in some emotional breakdown. On Snapchat, casual, like he was talking about what he had for lunch. Sykes testifies to this at trial, and it's damning, because now it's not just physical evidence. It's Ross's own words, captured digitally, admitting what he did. But Ross has a different story when he takes the stand. He claims there was an argument in the woods. He says Devin Clark shot Lyric first, then lunged at him. He says he wrestled the gun away and shot Devin in self-defense because he feared for his life. It's a bold move to testify in your own defense in a double murder trial, but Ross does it anyway. The problem? The evidence doesn't support him. The gunshot wounds in the victims' backs don't match his version of events. The prosecution hammers this point over and over. If Devin was lunging at you, why are the bullets in his back? If you were defending yourself, why is Lyric also shot from behind? The trial drags on for weeks. January 14th, 2026, it finally begins. Ross has already rejected a plea deal that would have given him 20 to 25 years for second-degree murder. He's rolling the dice, hoping a jury will believe his self-defense story. Weather interrupts deliberations. The jury is stuck. They deliberate for days. And then the verdict comes back, and it's split in the worst possible way. For Devin Clark, guilty of second-degree murder. The jury doesn't buy the first-degree premeditation argument, but they're convinced Ross killed him unlawfully. For Lyric Woods, deadlock. 8 jurors vote guilty. For vote not guilty, the judge declares a mistrial on her first-degree murder charge. Lyric's family is sitting in that courtroom watching the jury fail to deliver justice for their daughter. 1 killer, 2 victims, 1 conviction. Judge Stephanie Reese sentences Ross immediately for Devin's murder. 241 months minimum, 300 months maximum. That's roughly 20 to 25 years in prison, the exact same range he rejected in the plea deal. He gets credit for time already served and is ordered to undergo psychological evaluation. But here's the problem. He's only been convicted of killing 1 person. Lyric Woods' murder charge is hanging in limbo.
2022, nearly 4 years ago. Jurors continue deliberating whether Issiah Ross is responsible for the deaths of Lyric Woods and Devin Clark. This verdict has been a long time coming, almost 4 years to be exact. Prosecutors say Ross orchestrated and carried out the shootings. The defense argued that he was a frightened teenager caught in a situation that he did not create. From the start of this trial, the case centered on what happened in the final hours of the teens' lives and who pulled that trigger that night. Jurors heard from many witnesses and saw lots of evidence in this case. When Issiah Ross took the stand, he told jurors that it was Clark that shot Lyric Woods and then Ross then shot Clark out of self-defense. Prosecutors argued that his story didn't match the evidence. The defense said it showed a teenager reacting to trauma. Now, jurors have a decision to make, whether Issiah Ross was guilty or not guilty of first-degree murder in Lyric Woods' death. They also had to decide whether he was guilty or not guilty of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, or voluntary manslaughter in Devin Clark's death.
The prosecution now has a decision to make. Do they retry Ross for Lyric's murder? Assistant District Attorney Anna, or makes it clear they're not letting this go. She says justice for Lyric isn't gone just because the first trial ended in a mistrial. They're planning to revisit the charge in March. But retrials are expensive. They're exhausting for families. And there's no guarantee a second jury won't deadlock again. Meanwhile, Ross's defense team has already announced they're appealing his conviction for Devin's murder to the North Carolina Court of Appeals. So even the 1 conviction they did get isn't final yet.
Being able to reach a unanimous verdict as to the charges relating to Lyric Woods. Do I have any motions?
Yes, Your Honor, pursuant to 15A 1063, subsection 2, I would move the court to declare a mistrial as to, I believe it's count 1, the murder of Lyric Woods.
What says the defense?
Defense consents and agrees to that motion by the state.
I will have it showing then that it's a joint motion on both the state and the defense to declare a mistrial as to what we believe is count 1, the charges related to the killing of Lyric Woods. Mr. Ross, would you please stand up?
Members of the jury, you have returned with the following verdict. State of North Carolina in the General Court of Justice, County of Orange, file number 22, CR 000200670. State of North Carolina versus Issiah Ross. We, the jury, unanimously found the defendant, Issiah Ross, to be guilty of second-degree murder of Devin Clark. This the 29th day of January 2026. David J. Marini, foreperson. Is this your verdict? So say you all.
Record will indicate that all of the jurors have indicated that is their verdict.
Let's talk about what this means. Ross is currently sitting in prison serving his sentence for Devin Clark's death. But if the appeal succeeds, that conviction could be overturned. And if the prosecution decides not to retry him for Lyric's murder, or if a second jury also deadlocks, he walks on that charge entirely. One family has a conviction. The other family is stuck in legal purgatory, waiting to see if prosecutors will fight for them again. This case also led to real legislative change. In August 2023, North Carolina passed House Bill 186, nicknamed Lyric and Devin's Law. It allows investigators to share photos and information about 17-year-olds wanted for serious crimes like murder. Before this law, Ross's age protected him from having his image publicly distributed while he was on the run. Now, law enforcement has more tools to catch violent offenders, even if they're technically minors. But laws don't bring back the dead. Lyric Woods was 14 years old. She had her whole life ahead of her. Her family is still mourning. Devin Clark's family finally has a conviction, but it's second degree, not first. The jury didn't believe Ross planned it. They didn't believe he woke up that day intending to kill. And maybe that's true. Maybe it was a spontaneous decision made in the woods. But does that make the victims any less dead? Does that make the family's pain any less real? The unanswered questions are haunting. Why did Ross bring a gun to a meetup that was supposed to be consensual? If it was really self-defense, why did he flee to another state instead of calling the police? Why would Devin Clark, who didn't even know his dad's gun was missing, suddenly pull it on Ross? And most importantly, why couldn't 12 jurors agree on what happened to Lyric Woods when the physical evidence is identical to Devin's case? This is what makes the case so frustrating. Same crime scene, same shooter, same evidence, two completely different outcomes. And now Lyric's family has to wait and see if the state will spend the resources to try again. If you think the prosecution should retry this case, drop your thoughts in the comments. If you think the mistrial means reasonable doubt exists, let me know. I want to hear what you think justice looks like here. As of right now, February 2026, Issiah Ross is behind bars, but only for half of what he did. The retrial decision is coming in March, and when it does, I'll cover it, because this case isn't over. Not by a long shot. Subscribe to Crime Shadows so you don't miss the update when prosecutors make their move. This channel is built on covering cases while they're still developing, and I'm not stopping until we see how this ends. No sentence brings Lyric or Devin back, but their families deserve to know that the person responsible faces full accountability. And right now, that hasn't happened yet.
You mad that we won for real? That it didn't take your white skin and your motherfucking, the money that you had and the power and the title that you had to win? You mad that black people actually got the verdict that they wanted? You mad? You mad? White motherfuckers. Fuck you. Fuck you. You mad? Because the black people actually got to stand up on the stand and be able to read their notes. You didn't. You didn't. You thought you was going to win because of your skin color, because of this. Because of this, because of title. But you know what? The black people actually won. I love her. Come on, y'all. Come on, come on, come on. We had about 16 faithful. 16 faithful. Come on back in. I'm still waiting for somebody to talk shit to me. Come on over. Please talk shit to me. Come over. Talk shit to me. Come up. I'm waiting to see what it could be. Come over.